body of North Korean defector. America on high alert. Just what those desperate poor starving people from North Korea needed. It's now being reported by several news agencies that multiple North Korean defectors who lived near and around the North's main nuclear test site have shown symptoms of possible radiation exposure. Although doctors have said it is hard to determine whether they were affected by nuclear tests or if the radiation is coming from a leak or somewhere else. Just what those desperate poor starving people from North Korea needed. It's now being reported by several news agencies that multiple North Korean defectors who lived near and around the North's main nuclear test site have shown symptoms of possible radiation exposure. Although doctors have said it is hard to determine whether they were affected by nuclear tests or if the radiation is coming from a leak or somewhere else. Seoul's Unification Ministry announced the results of the 54-day medical checkup, quarantine and tests for radiation exposure on over 30 former residents of Kilju County in the province of Hamgyong-Bukdo. This is the same area which is home to the Pyongyang nuclear test site and where all 6 of North Korea's nuclear tests were conducted, so the findings sadly don't come as much of a surprise. All defectors who were screened had left the county after the North's first nuclear test in 2006 and arrived in the South before the 4th test in January of 2016. Tragically, nearly 24 recent defectors told South Korean media in November that Kilju County was turning into a wasteland where babies were reportedly being born with birth defects. But we all know very well Kim Jong-un doesn't care one bit. North Korea's other weapons, expert warns nukes aren't biggest concern. Fears North Korea is developing a biological weapons program. North Korea's nuclear program has long triggered condemnation, including the UN Security Council's recent decision to apply some of the toughest sanctions in history, but is something far more lethal lurking in the Hermit Kingdom's arsenal? They have a large stockpile of chemical weapons, but the one that gets the least attention, and that I worry most about, is their biological weapons program, said Andrew Weber, the former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Defense for Nuclear, Chemical and Biological Defense Programs from 2009 to 2014. When it comes to biological weapons, Weber said, just a tiny amount can bring incredibly lethal results. Ounces or pounds would be enough. You can have millions of lethal doses of anthrax in a several-pound quantity. With smallpox, maybe just a few grams. One of the biggest concerns when it comes to chemical or biological warfare, a concern that Weber and the White House seem to share, is the fact that these incredibly lethal attacks can easily be cloaked in deniability, and difficult to trace back to the perpetrator. Weber pointed out that it takes just 1 or 2 people to covertly deliver a strategic biological weapons attack. North Korea has been accused of using chemical weapons in an apparent assassination earlier this year, one that unfolded beyond its borders. Kim JongNam, the half-brother of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, was killed with the use of the nerve agent VX in the Kuala Lumpur International Airport last February 13. Adding to the difficulty in tracking the use of weapons like these, Weber said, is the fact that it's usually too late when people realize they've been exposed.